Think you know everything about the Olympics? Think again. Get ready to be amazed, shocked, and maybe even a little disgusted by 80 mind-blowing facts about the greatest show on Earth. From bizarre competitions to unbelievable athletes, we've got it all covered. So, grab your popcorn, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into the weird and wonderful world of the Olympics. Let's see if you can survive 12 minutes of Olympic trivia. Did you know that the Olympic has an ancient root? The first Olympic Games were held in 776 BC in Olympia, Greece. The prize for winning was an olive branch. Talk about low-budget awards. Did you know that the Olympic Games are held every 4 years? Like a really long leap year. Did you know that the ancient Olympics started as a religious festival honoring Zeus, the king of the gods? Imagine trying to explain that to your boss when you call in sick to watch the Olympics. Did you know that the International Olympic Committee, IOC, was founded in 1894? Their motto? Let's get ready to rumble in 4 years. That's a joke. You will like to know that the first modern Olympics were held in Athens in 1896 and was opened by King George I at the Panathenaic Stadium. That's like finding a really old, really cool video game and dusting it off. Did you know that the Olympic rings symbolize the union of the 5 continents? Imagine trying to explain that to your boss when you call in sick to watch the Olympics. Did you know that, according to record, 43 events were held at the first modern Olympic in 1896, where 13 nations were represented by 280 athletes? That was not an unimpressive start for a global sport event. You need to be aware that 4 new sports, breaking, breakdancing, skateboarding, sport climbing, and surfing, have been added to the Olympic program. That was not an unimpressive start for a global sport event. Did you know that the marathon distance, 26.2 miles, was inspired by a Greek messenger? Modern runners now pay money to voluntarily suffer the same fate. Did you know that the Olympic motto is Citius, Altius, Fortius, which means faster, higher, stronger? Basically, the Olympic version of I can do it. Did you know that Helene Pout-Alès, a Swiss, was the first woman to compete at Olympics and win a gold medal at the Paris 1900 Olympic? Everything has got to start. Did you know that in 1976, a rainstorm extinguished the Olympic flame? Kaye at a torch mishap. They relit it with a cigarette lighter. Improvisation at its finest. Did you know that the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, originally scheduled for 2020, were postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, making it a unique chapter in Olympic history? Who would have thought a global pandemic could change the course of the Olympics? Did you know that Ian Miller, a Canadian equestrian team athlete, holds the record for most Olympic appearance by any athlete with 10th appearance at the London 2012 active athlete for 4 decades ESA record, deserving an Olympic title? Did you know that the Olympic flame is traditionally lit at the site of ancient Olympia in Greece? A never-ending lighter for the world's biggest party. Did you know that Babe Didrikson-Zaharias, an American athlete, was the first woman to win an Olympic gold medal in 1932? Another proof that girls can do anything, even beat the boys at their own game. For your information, Michael Phelps, an American former competitive swimmer, is the most decorated Olympian of all time with 28 medals. He's basically the Thanos of the Olympics. Did you know that Usain Bolt, a Jamaican, holds the world records for the 100m and 200m sprints? He's so fast, he could probably outrun a speeding ticket. Did you know that the Olympic mascot is the symbol of the game? The 1996 Atlanta Olympics featured Izzy, a mascot so strange that people called it, "What is it?" Even the creators weren't quite sure. Did you know that athletes take an oath, a solemn promise at the opening ceremony of each Olympic Games, to compete fairly? Fingers crossed they aren't crossing their fingers behind their backs. Did you know that in AD 67, Emperor Nero of Italy won a 10-horse chariot race, despite not completing the race? His name was removed from the list of winners after he died. Who dare beat the emperor to a race? Anybody? Did you know that the Paralympic Games are for athletes with disabilities? Proof that the human spirit is stronger than any physical limitation. Did you know that the Olympic Village is where athletes from all over the world live together? It's like a global dorm room, but with better food. Did you know that the Olympic record for the longest javelin throw is over 300 feet by Andreas Thorkildsen, Norway? That's like throwing a spear through a football field. Did you know that the Olympic opening ceremony is a spectacular show of culture and tradition? It's like the Super Bowl halftime show, but with more countries. Did you know that the United States continued its basketball supremacy in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, solidifying their position as the undisputed kings of the court? Guess it's safe to say the rest of the world is still playing catch-up. Did you know that Olympic athletes consume thousands of calories per day? Their diet is basically like eating at an all-you-can-eat buffet, but with more protein. Did you know that the Tokyo 2020 Olympics introduced innovative technologies, allowing fans to experience the games in new and immersive ways through virtual and augmented reality? The future of sports watching is here, and it's pretty cool. Did you know that the Olympic medals are made of gold, silver, and bronze? Shiny objects that represent years of hard war. In case you don't know, that the Olympic anthem was composed by Spiridon Samaras with lyrics by Kostas Palamas is a song that represents the spirit of the games. Think of it as the Olympics theme song. Did you know that the 1972 Munich Olympics were marred by a terrorist attack when a Palestinian militant group attacked and killed 11 Israeli athletes, official, and 5 of the militants same day? A tragic reminder that even in sports, the world can be a dark place. Did you know that London 1908 Olympic was the first opening time an official opening ceremony was held for the Olympics? How does an Olympic without an opening party feels like? Anyone? Did you know that the 1916 Summer Olympics, 1940 Summer Olympics, 1940 Winter Olympics, 1944 Summer Olympics, and 1944 Winter Olympics games were canceled due to wars? Dialogue over war, negotiation over strife. Let there be peace. Did you know that the Olympics promote a peaceful and better world by educating youth through sport practiced without discrimination of any kind and in the Olympic spirit? It's like the United Nations, but with sports. The refugee Olympic team made its second appearance at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, highlighting the power of sport to unite people from different backgrounds, a true testament to the human spirit. Did you know that the Olympics inspire people of all ages to pursue their dreams? You don't have to be an Olympian to be a champion. Did you know that tug of war, a sport that pits 2 teams against each other in a test of strength, was once an Olympic event? Yes, gym class games were taken very seriously back in the day. Did you know that the 1900 Paris Olympics featured live pigeon shooting, where pigeons were released and athletes most killed got the prize? It's the only time killing birds got you a gold medal instead of a fine from animal control. Did you know that Larissa Ladynina, a Russian gymnast, holds the record of the highest Olympic medalist, female, with 14 medals, comprising of 14 individual and 14 medals. Talk of girls' power. Did you know that from 1912 to 1948, the Olympics awarded medals for works of art inspired by sport in architecture, literature, music, painting, and sculpture? They probably didn't have to worry about doping in that event. Did you know that the men's marathon in Athens took nearly 3 hours, making it the longest Olympic event since the 1896? Proof that ancient ruins are still full of surprises. Did you know that the first Olympic Village was at the 1932 Games in Los Angeles? Athletes had their own dedicated residence, which has become known as the Olympic Village. It's like the ultimate sports dormitory. Did you know that the youngest Olympian ever was Demetrius Loundras, who competed in gymnastics at age 10? He probably got grounded for staying out past curfew. Did you know that Oscar Swan, a 72-year-old Swedish shooter, holds the record for the oldest Olympic medalist, gold medalist, and competitor in history? He showed that age is just a number, and so is your score. Did you know that London's medals had typos with their title description of bobsleigh 4-man event inscription? They instead read bobsleigh 4-man event. Proof that even winners make mistakes. Did you know that the Paralympic Games for athletes with disabilities began in 1960, proving that determination and skill have no limits? Did you know that Rio's water quality was a serious concern that athletes feared for their health? They contain viruses up to 1.7 million more times hazardous than a US beach. It's not just about beating the clock, but the bacteria. Not so cool. Did you know that the Winter Olympics once had ski joring, where skiers were pulled by a horse in 1928? It's like water skiing, but colder and with more manure. You will really like to know that women were first allowed to compete in the 1900 Paris Olympics. Before that, the closest they got was probably cheering from the sidelines. In case you don't know, that London and Paris are the two cities to host the Summer Olympics 3 times: London, 1908, 1948, 2012, Paris, 1900, 1924, and 2024. Call them the Olympic Airbnb. Did you know that the first official Olympic drug tests were in 1968, when Swedish pentathlete Hans-Gunnar Liljenwall was disqualified for drinking beer? Some athletes probably wished for a time machine to go back to when it was just about fun and games. You really need to know that both men and women compete together in equestrian events at the Olympics, proving that when it comes to horses, gender really doesn't matter. Did you know that in ancient Olympics, all non-equestrian participants competed naked? Modern-day wardrobe malfunctions would pale in comparison. Did you know that Jesse Owens, an American athlete, won 4 gold medals at the 1936 Berlin Games, shattering Hitler's Aryan supremacy myth? Talk about a mic drop athlete. Did you know that a camera exploded during the 1960 Rome Olympics, providing a dramatic, unintentional, special effect? Who needs fireworks when you have exploding cameras? Did you know that technology like photo finish cameras revolutionized track events? Now there's no need to argue over who won by a nose. It's good to know that the first time gold, silver, and bronze medals were awarded as prizes at the Olympic was at the St. Louis, 1904. When people are tired of getting olive for years of practicing. Did you know that the USA has won the most Olympic medals, with 2,959, out of which 1,175 are gold? They probably need a separate warehouse just for storage. For a game this popular, the Olympics have seen their share of political protests, like the Black Power salute in 1968. Sometimes, the games are more than just games. It's interesting to know that the concept of the Olympic truce dates back to ancient Greece, where wars were paused for the game. This was revived by the United Nations Resolution 4811 of October 25, 1993. If only that worked during election season. Did you know that the largest Olympic stadium is Stadium Australia, holding 115,000 people? This second largest stadium in Australia was built to host Sydney 2000 Olympic. That's a lot of cheering and bathroom lines. Did you know that Beijing 2008 Olympics holding the record for the largest television audience in the history of the Games, drawing in 4.7 billion. This is followed by the 2012 London Olympic. It's like the world's biggest Netflix binge watch. Did you know that the Summer and Winter Olympics used to be held in the same year until 1992? Now, we get double the fun every 2 years. Did you know that the Panathenaic Stadium in Athens, built in 330 BC, was used for the 1896 Games? It's the original sports complex. It will amaze you to know that Abebe Bikila of Ethiopia won the 1960 marathon barefoot, defended his title in Tokyo in 1964, making him the first athlete to successfully defend an Olympic marathon title. Who need additional weight when gold prize is at stake? Did you know that Paris 2024 aims to be the greenest Olympics yet, with initiatives to reduce carbon emissions and promote sustainability? Let's hope the athletes pack their reusable water bottles. Did you know that Norway set a new record by winning 16 gold medals at the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics, the most by any country in Winter Games history? Looks like the cold never bothered them anyway. Did you know that the ticketing system for Paris 2024 features a lottery draw system, which means not everyone who applies gets a ticket? It's like Willy Wonka's golden ticket, but for sports fans. Did you know that the gold medals awarded at the Olympics are actually 92.5% silver, plated with 6 grams of gold? So, technically, it's more like a silver medal with a golden makeover. Who knew winning could be so? Did you know that the 1960 Olympics in Rome were the first games broadcast on TV screens around the world? With viewership peaking at 150,000, it was the original binge-watching event. Move over, Netflix. Did you know that Greece, Switzerland, Great Britain, Australia, and France are the only countries that have sent athletes to every Summer Olympics. Talk about never missing a party. Did you know that U.S. cities have hosted the most Olympics, with 4 summer and 4 winter games? Hosting years include 1904, 1932, 1984, 1996, 1932, 1960, 1980, and 2002. Apparently, they love throwing the world's biggest sporting party. Did you know that Paris is the first Olympics to pay winning athletes? While the IOC doesn't pay athletes to compete, their home country's Olympic body or sponsors might. Because sometimes, glory needs a little cash incentive. Many wouldn't like this, but you need to know that alcohol is banned at the Olympic Village. Any athletes at Paris 2024 looking to celebrate with a drink will have to do it outside the village. Celebrations without a toast? That's a dry victory. And did you know that the 2028 Olympics scheduled to take place from July 14th to 30th, 2028 will be held in Los Angeles? Start planning your trip and your sunscreen strategy. Thanks for watching. Check more amazing facts